ICT Week continues at the Atlantis Resort, Paradise Island, the Bahamas. Tuesday, November 28th began with a joint session of the 35th Executive Council and the 20th General Conference of Ministers. Junior McIntyre, project coordinator of CARCIP, gives a breakdown of the Caribbean Regional Communications Infrastructure Project. Tell me a little bit about CARCIP and how it can benefit us in the Caribbean. What exactly is it? I see infrastructure in there, and I see program, and I'm thinking for the benefit of those who really don't know and understand, we can break it down for them.
Yes. Simply put, there are two components of the project. One deals with broadband. Broadband is as large and wide as you can conceive it. All right, and that basically broadband provides the infrastructure, the capacity for everybody, the citizens, government, to use technology, businesses, the private sector, to use technology. So it does provide the capacity. And the other component of the project we refer to as ICT-led innovation. And that deals with more the softer side, the human skills development, business incubators, training and development, certifying our people, increasing employment, and some of those things would be the outcome of the entire project. So in a nutshell, there are two sides of the project. One deals with the broadband capacity, and specifically the project, we're dealing with 3 countries. It's really a pilot. So we're dealing with St. Lucia, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and Grenada. And we have, looking inside of the project, the idea is to address gaps in broadband capacity. So there are some areas that are underserved, and some areas, especially coming off the coast of the mainland, going into the Grenadine Islands. A lot of the citizens don't have access. So they don't have sufficient access to the technology because of the broadband deficit. And so an important part of the project is really ensuring that broadband is ubiquitous, it's available, it's affordable, all right, and it's accessible. Very important. And on top of that layer, then you can use ICT, and then you can provide ICT services not only for consumption, but also for productivity. And so what I mean by that is that we can now create businesses that are ICT driven or ICT enabled, and that impacts GDP. That impacts it creates spaces for employment. All right, and then you're able to generate a workforce and develop your workforce. You also have opportunities for outsourcing. All right, and because of our location, strategic location, we are very, a good site for what we call nearshore or close or nearshore workforce. We can provide that, especially going on to Latin America, South America side, and coming down from North America. We have resources that are accessible because of our geographical placement.
Right. So how does this now, I'm gathering that we're fueling economic growth here.
Correct.
And we're moving forward in terms of being fully digital in the region past 2030.
Yes.
How does this now impact or assist with that single Caribbean space that we're looking at?
Right. Digital transformation is very important. Because unless the world is heading, if you look at Estonia and how they are similar in a sense because they are a landlocked country, and so they have border restrictions. They're very small population size, but they depend totally on technology. That is their means to an end, right? For want of a better phrase. And so they leverage technology, and they allow persons from outside, non-nationals, to actually register a business in country. And there's a reason for that. And so they use technology, that is the option they choose. And so, again, that is an example of probably a similar situation that we can find ourselves in. We are very small independent states. We are not landlocked, we are isolated islands, but we suffer the same fate.
So the Estonia blueprint is probably the best that we can look at?
This is just an example. We have islands off the Philippines as well. Yes. We have a lot of small developing islands, especially developing countries that you can look at as examples. But the issue really is the whole issue of digital transformation and to move from where we are. And there's a big what we call digital deficit in terms of where we are and where we need to be as compared to the rest of the world. All right, and so that gap is always increasing. If you look at the what we call the digital index for e-government, which is a good indicator, we have been falling behind over time. All right, so where we would have made gains in a few years, over time we would have really fallen back. And so we have to look at that and really be cognitive of that. And so, you know, those are some things that we have to look at in terms of ICT and the benefit to the benefit to our citizens. So I think one of the things is that we have to communicate the right message and change the culture over time. So it's not going to happen overnight, but we have to start communicating, sharing the benefits of ICT. We have to provide, government plays a critical role. Our government has to incentivize business. So,
question, as you say, government plays a critical role. Is funding critical? Is that one of the reasons why we're somewhat behind? Does that play a major role?
I would not say funding is the most critical constraint or most severe constraint. It is part, but you know, interestingly, there are a lot of opportunities for funding. All right, there are a number of donor funding agencies. You have the IDA, you have the World Bank, you have the EU, a number of those. And so we can leverage resources. I don't think that's a problem. I think it's the will.
Okay.
Political will in some cases. And in a lot of cases, people are just ignorant of what mindset. And you have to change that culture. And so that is once you have the desire to change your paradigm, then you find you would see the opportunities differently.
ICT Week in the Bahamas runs from November 27th to December 1st. The event is themed Internet Imperatives for the Caribbean Single ICT Space. It's hosted by the Government of the Bahamas and its Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, IRCA, in collaboration with the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, CTU.